Chapter 9, Locking Down Reality, Stabilization and Tracking. Section 9.1, Warp Stabilizer VFX, Smoothing Out Shaky Handheld Footage. Section 9.2, Single Point Tracking, Attaching Text and Graphics to Moving Objects. Section 9.3, the 3D Camera Tracker, Placing Assets into Real-World Environments. Section 9.4, Screen Replacements, Corner Pinning Basics for Device Screens. In Chapter 8, we broke the glass of your monitor and entered 3D space. We built cameras and lights to fly around your digital assets. We were the directors of a virtual world, creating movement where there was none. Now, we face the opposite challenge. The movement already exists, and it is messy. Real-world footage is shaky, chaotic, and unpredictable. If you have ever tried to place text next to a moving car or replace a screen on a handheld phone, you know that eyeballing it doesn't work. The moment your graphic slips just a pixel away from the footage, the illusion breaks. The viewer instantly knows it is fake. In this chapter, we are going to lock down reality. We will smooth out the jitters of handheld cameras and learn to track pixels so our graphics stick to video footage as if they were physically there during the shoot. This is the difference between an amateur overlay and a professional composite. Let's stabilize the chaos. Section 9.1, Warp Stabilizer VFX, Smoothing Out Shaky Handheld Footage. We start with one of the most popular, yet most misunderstood, tools in After Effects, the Warp Stabilizer VFX. We have all been there. You shot great B-roll for a vlog or a commercial, but you didn't have a gimbal. The footage has that distracted micro jitter that makes it unwatchable. You need it smooth. The Warp Stabilizer is an automated effect that analyzes your footage and counter-animates it to keep the subject steady. However, it comes with a cost. It must zoom in to hide the edges of the frame as it moves the image around. Figure, a detailed split-screen comparison diagram. The left side shows a video frame with significant motion blur edges and a red shaky label. The right side shows the same frame, slightly cropped, zoomed in, but perfectly aligned, labeled stabilized. Overlay graphics show the analysis progress bar at 15% in blue. How to apply Warp Stabilizer. Select your footage layer in the timeline. Go to the Animation menu and choose Warp Stabilizer VFX. Alternatively, find it in the Effects and Presets panel under Distort. Once applied, let go of the mouse. A blue banner will appear across your footage saying Initializing. This is a background process. The effect is analyzing every pixel's movement. The critical settings. While the default settings work 80% of the time, the other 20% can result in a jello effect where the background wobbles unnaturally. Here is how to fix that. Result: change this from smooth motion to no motion if you want the camera to look like it was on a tripod. Keep it on smooth motion if you want to keep the camera movement but remove the jitter. Method: this is the most important setting. Asterisk subspace warp, default warps parts of the frame independently. Good for complex movement but causes jello. Asterisk position, scale, rotation, a safer bet. It moves the whole frame without warping pixels. Use this if the default looks weird. Figure, a close-up screenshot of the Effect Controls panel focusing on the Warp Stabilizer VFX settings. Highlight that method drop-down menu with the mouse hovering over position, scale, rotation. The result is set to smooth motion with smoothness at 50%. Pro tip: Warp Stabilizer fights against you if you try to adjust the speed of the clip after stabilizing. Always pre-compose your footage first if you plan to speed ramp it or stabilize it before you edit time. Section 9.2, Single Point Tracking, Attaching Text and Graphics to Moving Objects. Stabilization removes movement, tracking uses it. Imagine you are editing a corporate video. The CEO walks down a hallway, and you want their name and title to float next to their head, bobbing up and down with their stride. For simple 2D movement like this, we use the Legacy Tracker panel. We need to tell After Effects to watch a specific high contrast point in the video, like a button on a shirt or a distinct mole, and apply that movement to our text. The tracking workflow. This process involves a specific order of operations. Do not skip the null object step, it saves you from messy keyframe disasters later. Create a null object, go to Layer, New, a null object. Rename it Tracker Null. This invisible layer will hold the movement data. Open the tracker, select your video layer. Go to Window Tracker. Click Track Motion, a new layer panel will open. Tracking happens here, not in the composition panel. Figure, a technical diagram showing the anatomy of a track point. A small square inside a larger square. Label the inner square feature region, what to look for, and the outer square search region, where to look for it. An arrow points to the central crosshair labeled Attach Point. Mastering the track point. You will see a track point appear, a box inside a box. In a box, feature region, place this around the high contrast item, e.g., the button on the suit. Outer box, search region, this tells After Effects how far the object might move between frames. If the movement is fast, make this box bigger. Click the Analyze Forward, Play button, icon in the tracker panel. Watch the software automatically hunt down that pixel frame by frame. Applying the data. Once the track is done, you have a path of keyframes. Click Edit Target in the tracker panel and select your Tracker Null. Click Apply. Choose X and Y dimensions. Now your null object is glued to the CEO's lapel. The final step is simple parenting. Place your text layer where you want it, then use the pick whip to parent the text to the tracker null. The text now follows the person perfectly, but you retain the freedom to reposition the text without messing up the tracking data. Section 9.3, the 3D camera tracker, placing assets into real-world environments. Single-point tracking is great for 2D panning, left, right, up, down. But what if the camera moves forward into a scene? What if you want to place 3D text standing on the floor of a hallway while the camera walks past it? This requires solving the parallax, the way objects close to the camera move faster than objects far away. For this, we use the 3D camera tracker. This tool is incredibly powerful. It reverse engineers the physical camera's movement and creates a virtual camera in After Effects that matches it perfectly. Figure, a screenshot of a city street footage in the composition window. The scene is covered in hundreds of tiny, colorful X marks, track points, of varying sizes. A red target bullseye graphic is flat on the pavement, aligned with the perspective of the road. The 3D tracking process. Select your footage. Choose Effect Perspective 3D Camera Tracker. Wait. A banner saying Analyzing in background will appear. This can take a few minutes depending on your resolution. When it finishes, your footage will look like it has been covered in colorful confetti. These are track points. Small points represent background elements. Large points represent foreground elements. Sticking text to the ground. Hover your mouse over the points. You will see a red bullseye target appear. The goal is to find a cluster of points on a flat surface, like the floor or a wall, where the bullseye looks like it is lying flat in perspective. Click to select a triangle of points on the floor. Right-click the target. Select Create Text and Camera. Boom! After Effects creates a 3D camera layer that mimics the original cameraman, and a text layer that is physically positioned at that spot in 3D space. If you scrub the timeline, the text should look like it is physically standing on the ground. You can now swap that text for a logo, a 3D shape, or anything else, as long as you keep it in that 3D position. Warning: this effect requires footage with actual camera movement, parallax. It will not work on a tripod shot where the camera just pans left and right. Section 9.4, Screen Replacements, Corner Pinning Basics for Device Screens. One of the most common jobs for a motion designer is screen replacement. You have footage of someone looking at a phone or tablet, but the screen is blank or green. You need to put your UI design onto that device. Since a screen is a rectangle, we need to track for points, the four corners, to handle the perspective changes as the device tilts. Using the native perspective tracker. While third-party tools like Mocha AE, included with After Effects, are the industry standard for difficult shots, the native tracker is excellent for learning the fundamentals of corner pinning. Prep your screen, import your UI design. Right-click it and pre-compose it. Select Move All Attributes. This is crucial, it allows you to update the screen content later without retracking. Set up the tracker, select the footage. In the Tracker panel, choose Track Motion. Change track type. In the tracker settings, change Transform to Perspective Corner Pin. Figure, a close-up diagram of a smartphone screen in a video frame. For distinct track points, crosshairs are positioned exactly on the four corners of the device screen. Number them 1, 2, 3, for clockwise from top left. Arrows indicate their attach point is on the bezel to screen contrast edge. For points of contact, you will now see for track points in the layer panel. Drag them to the four corners of the device screen in the footage. Look for high contrast corners. Analyze forward just like we did in section 9.2. Once the track is solid, 1. Click Edit Target and select your pre-composed screen layer. 2. Click Apply. After Effects applies the corner pin effect to your screen layer. The corners of your graphic are now pinned to the corners of the device. If the alignment isn't perfect, don't try to move the layer with the selection tool, that will break the pin. Instead, go inside the pre-comp to adjust the position of your graphics, or use the CC Power Pin effect for fine-tuning. Conclusion. Tracking is about patience. Sometimes the automatic solution works instantly, other times, you have to go in frame by frame and nudge a track point back into place. But the feeling when you play back the footage and your graphics are locked perfectly to the real world? It is pure magic. It stops being a video effect and starts being reality. In the next chapter, we are going to look at one of the most essential, yet often ignored, aspects of professional video, audio. We will learn to make things sound as good as they look. Figure Mind Map, Chapter 9, Stabilization and Tracking, Root, Tracking and Stabilization, Branch, Warp Stabilizer VFX, Node, Best for Handheld Shakes, Node, Subspace Warp versus Position, Node, No Scale Setting, Branch, Single Point Tracking, Node, 2D Movement X, Y, Node, Tracker Panel, Node, Workflow, Track Dash and Null Dash Apparent, Branch, 3D Camera Tracker, Node, Solves Parallax, Node, Creates Virtual Camera, Node, Placing Objects in 3D Space, Branch, Screen Replacement, Node, Perspective. Corner Pin, Node, for point tracking, Node, Pre-compose screen content.